Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the F-104S TAF, of which is a currently Tier 7 10.7 BR premium jet fighter for the Italian Air Tech tree. This vehicle currently comes in a pack that includes the F-104S TAF, 20 days of premium time, and 2,500 Golden Eagles, all for the current price of $69.99 USD. That said, in this video, I'll be going over everything that you need to know about this premium starfighter variant, including its stats, how it plays, its strengths and weaknesses. I'll give some scores in several key areas, and then I'll give my final recommendation and if I feel that this vehicle is worth purchasing or not. With that said, if you like this kind of video, or if you like flying straight, spaghetti, or Italian plumbers in red jumpsuits, please consider subscribing to my channel, but without further ado, let's get into it. Now to start, I'll place the stats here on the side of the screen. Important stats to note are its top speed, rate of climb, and turn time. Now with that said, for how it plays. In short, I hope you don't like turning because the F-104S TAF, along with essentially every other starfighter in War Thunder and, well, real life, is essentially a manned missile that has among the worst maneuverability in-game for any fighter. Because of this, hit and run tactics will be key, though boom and zoom is incredibly effective in down tiers, where you will not be attacked by many radar-guided missiles and most planes will be far slower and thus far lower altitude than you. As such, as long as you can use this incredible speed of the F-104S TAF to your advantage, and of course not turn, you can easily get to within missile range of the enemy and fire an AIM-9P, which is essentially an export variant of the AIM-9J. While AIM-9Ps aren't quite fire and forget about it missiles, they still track quite well, have good maneuverability, aren't the easiest to flare away, and most importantly, you have 6 of them, allowing for you to make up shots that you may have missed. With these missiles, as well as your cannon, and of course with the element of surprise, this starfighter variant can easily kill numerous enemies in quick succession, especially in a down tier and especially with a successful boom and zoom. Alternatively, in an up tier, staying low to the ground and behind allies to start the match is the way to go. Trying to pick off targets of opportunity quickly so that they don't see you before your missile or cannon hits them. Regardless, the shared strategy in both up tiers and down tiers will be that of the hit and run, as the incredible speed and lack of maneuverability of this plane makes it so that getting into turn fights will be a death sentence, making it far better to run and then rejoin the fight after your pursuers are far enough away. On a side note, the base destroying capability of this plane is actually quite impressive, with it being able to carry incendiary bombs as well as 1,000 and 2,000 pound bombs, which allow you to destroy at least 1.5 bases while being able to carry 2 missiles on your wingtips. Now with that said, let's get into how close air support is for this plane. One might think that because of the shape and the role of this aircraft, it might not be good for close air support. If you think that, you'd be wrong. Unlike the MiG-21, the F-104S starfighter can be quite good at close air support, being able to carry many Mighty Mouse rockets, Zunis, and a host of different bomb sizes, all the way up to a 2,000 pound bomb underneath, for a total combined ordnance load of over 3,300 kilograms. On top of this, it features ballistic computers for both bombs and rockets, which takes the already decent sized payload and adds a level of accuracy to it. While the F-104S TAF lacks guided ordnance, it can still perform very well at this BR in a close air support role, then transitioning to an air cover role once your anti-ground ordnance is expended. Though of course, if you're using this plane as a close air support plane for similar BR tanks, that means that you're using the Ariete, which God help your soul because that is painful. Now with that said, let's get into the strengths and weaknesses of the F-104S TAF. I should probably just call it the Starfighter TAF or something similar. Anyways, for strengths, first, it is extremely fast with excellent acceleration and rate of climb. Second, it has 6 very capable AIM-9P rear aspect missiles. For its third strength, it features an excellent 20mm M61A1 rotary cannon with plenty of ammunition that can destroy both air and ground targets with ease. For its fourth strength, it has a great roll rate. For its fifth strength, it can carry up to 2 fairly decent AIM-7E Sparrow mid-range missiles. Beyond this, it is surprisingly capable in close air support, being able to carry over 3,000 kilograms of ordnance and also again having ballistic computers for both bombs and rockets. Additionally, Additionally, it can carry enough ordnance to destroy one base and substantially damage another in ARB. Now for its 7th strength, it has good energy retention while turning, but I'll get into that in a moment. 8th, the Starfighter is very narrow, making it difficult to hit with cannons. And finally, it features premium RP and SL bonuses. Now for its weaknesses. As one might imagine, the F-104 with its fuselage essentially being a cockpit, engine, and fuel, and its stubby wings, well, it can hardly turn. The maneuverability on this plane is awful, which helps to account for its good energy retention. It simply cannot turn quickly enough to lose energy. For its second weakness, while at 10.7 BR the AIM-9Ps are pretty darn good, the F-104S TAF still lacks all-aspect missiles. Third, it has a mediocre radar that can make acquiring targets for AIM-7Es very difficult. For its fourth weakness, speaking of, if you equip AIM-7E Sparrows, the game forces you to unequip your cannon. For me, I'd much rather have 6 very good AIM-9Ps and a cannon, rather than a mix of Sidewinder, Sparrows, and a mediocre radar, and again, lacking the cannon in that setup. Beyond this, it lacks guided anti-ground ordnance, but again, at least you have ballistic computers to make up for it in part. And finally, though it isn't strictly a strength or weakness, the F-104S TAF only has 60 countermeasures. For some players, this is enough. For others, this is insufficient. Take that as you will. Now with all that said, let's get into how I score this plane. And first, for air RB and dogfighting, I give the F-104S TAF a 7.25 out of 10. This one is a little tricky, as the Starfighter sits on the line of being down tiered and up tiered all the time. Luckily for the F-104S TAF, it's down tiered in almost every single match that it gets into. Because of this, with its incredible performance and very good missiles, it can easily dominate when taking enemies by surprise, and then just as easily run from the fight to escape any danger, as it can outrun almost all other similar BR planes and even some higher BR planes. With this said, this score is also largely based on the strategy that you employ. For example, as a boom and zoomer, this plane can easily be a 9 out of 10, at least in a down tier. As a turn fighter, it's a 2.5 out of 10, if not quite a bit worse. As a hit and run plane, as most people will play this, and can be played in either an up tier or a down tier, the F-104S TAF is a solid 7.5 out of 10. While the TAF is excellent in its niche in either boom and zoom or hit and run, it lacks the maneuverability and arguably the countermeasures to be fully excellent in dogfighting. Otherwise, this plane is a plane of extremes, with extreme performance and extremely bad maneuverability. Further, it lacks all aspect missiles, though at least it has very good rear aspect missiles in their place. If you can maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses, and build a strategy that works for you, the F-104S TAF can be incredible. Through my first 12 or 15 give or take matches with this plane, I clocked in around a 4.5 KD in this plane when going after enemy players, not taking into account bots. Again, if you're good in this plane, you are golden. Now for close air support, I give it a 6 out of 10. The Starfighter, while not being known for close air support, is surprisingly capable in this role, being able to carry over 3,000 kilograms of ordnance, with up to a 2,000 pound bomb, several 1,000 pound bombs, as well as smaller bombs, and of course both Mighty Mouse and Zuni rockets. As mentioned earlier in this video, the TAF also benefits from having ballistic computers for both bombs and rockets, which multiplies their effectiveness, allowing you to drop the large payload accurately on target. Unfortunately, the Starfighter lacks guided ordnance, but it can still hit enemies with ease. Further, the 20mm M61A1 rotary cannon can annihilate most lightly armored vehicles with ease, which of course includes SPAA. To top it off, because the Starfighter utilizes wingtip missiles, you can still carry 2 AIM-9P missiles without sacrificing any anti-ground ordnance, which will allow you to easily double as air cover. Overall, between a fairly large payload, ballistics computers, and good versatility, the F-104S TAF is surprisingly very good as a close air support plane. Not the best of course, but it is easily serviceable in this role, especially considering the other options for Italy. Now overall, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. While purpose-built as a fighter, a role of the F-104S TAF can perform exceptionally well, this Starfighter variant is also surprisingly competent as a close air support plane. Despite its many flaws, the current BR placement of this vehicle makes it so that it can outperform every plane that it encounters, so long as you do not not get into an ill-advised turn fight. When used correctly, multi-kill matches with this plane should be the norm. Barring a change in the meta, the F-104S TAF should be quite good for a long time, at least based on my experiences with this plane thus far. Now with that said, should you buy this plane? While I personally really like this starfighter variant, it currently costs $69.99 USD, and also fits a somewhat thin playstyle. If you like hit and run as well as boom and zoom tactics, this plane is excellent, and I would thusly recommend it, with the caveat that it does not see a BR increase or that the meta shifts substantially. If you like turn fighting or feel that you can only do well in such planes, I would avoid the F-104S TAF and instead look at perhaps the J35XF, at least if you like Air RB and you do not mind the $69.99 price tag, though of course the Starfighter is much more well-rounded than the J35XS, being that the Starfighter can at least perform close air support competently. The F-104S TAF is surprisingly versatile and is one of the more surprising premium planes to come out in the update in which it was featured. So yes, I do like this plane enough to recommend it, but again, be wary of that very high $70 or really $69.99 price tag, as well as the fact that it has little to no maneuverability. Though it does at least gain some maneuverability, I would say give or take around 900 to 1,000 kilometers per hour, it can at least turn a little bit around that level. Now, if those things do not bother you, then go ahead and check out this plane, because I'll be honest with you guys, I really love it. That being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. Please, of course, consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, or if you want, definitely comment on this video, let me know what you thought of the video, or of course, the F-104S TAF. But either way, thanks again, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.